Hello everybody, hope you're having a great day. Here's Val with another video to keep your boredom at bay. You guys know how much it sucks to not be able to discuss the latest and greatest Season 6 episode content with anyone in your circle because they don't have immediate access to HBO. At the slightest mention of, holy crap, did you see Sunday night? They either cover their ears or run to the next room. Well, there's this really cool Game of Thrones app that can solve that problem. It was made by Amino, for die-hard Game of Thrones fans like us, where spoilers talk is greatly encouraged, and any type of Game of Thrones talk. The app is completely free and it's available for both iPhone and Android. If you decide to join, you will be able to connect with over 10,000 fans to share photos and videos, post content and articles, and join in with the latest Game of Thrones discussion. To give you a good idea of what you will find there, here's an example of a poll I created to vote on whether Cersei will burn something or not, and what will she burn. This one is a challenge created by Shadow Walker, where you post your favorite moment in the show, and here you can see a bunch of different chat rooms you can participate in. If you ever get confused on how to use the app, they have tutorials that cover everything, so don't worry. You can find them in the sidebar menu down here. Check out the links in the video description below to download the app and join the community. Next week I will be starting a discussion on something about episode 4. If you want to find out what it is, then just follow me on the app. I should show up if you search for Because Geek. Okay, so I had a huge script for this video, but I had to shorten it because I was running out of time. Davos is back inside somehow. Did he just stay outside the door for a while and heard Jon gasping? 6 stabs and 7 wounds. I don't know why. Liam performed his shock better than Carice, but she opened her eyes as big as she could at least. But man, straight up telling him that he's the prince that was promised? The guy just came back to life, give him a little time to process that first, let alone being the chosen one. Saying that he saw nothing after he died is the thing that changed him. He will do a lot more with his life now, and he realized that the Night's Watch is not worth it. Did Ed making a comment about Jon's eyes still being brown have any significance? I know eye color has been a big thing in theory, so maybe a hint to something there. Talk about Sam and Gilly later. Tower of Joy was amazing. The exact book dialogue would have been too long for TV and would have sounded weird. The dialogue changes worked out perfectly in my opinion. We can enjoy the show more if we forget about the books. Actor Eddie Eyre confirmed he was playing Geralt Hightower. Arthur Dayne looked exactly like I imagined him. I expected dual wielding to be badass, but he was even more badass than I expected. A lot of people missed that the sword Dayne slammed into the ground in front of all of us was Dawn. I thought it was hilarious how hard we got trolled when they didn't show us the inside of the tower. But don't worry, it'll happen in another episode. Okay, let's slow down for a second to explain something here. A lot of people weren't pleased with the fact that the show made Ned look like a liar by telling Bran he beat Arthur Dayne. Either Ned told him or someone else told him the story. Bran didn't specify who, only that he heard the story 1,000 times. But not only does this differ from the books where Bran does specifically say that Ned told him Howland saved him from Arthur Dayne, a similar line was also included in the show, here.
Your father is Howland Reed?
Yeah.
Saved my father's life during the rebellion.
Father told you about the rebellion.
Let's just give this a huge benefit of the doubt and say, just for argument's sake, that Bran only knew Howland saved Ned's life during the rebellion, but he didn't know how. He didn't know that it was specifically at the Tower of Joy, and that's why he wasn't expecting it while he was watching it. Instead of thinking Ned lied to make himself look more honorable, I'd suggest looking at it from a different angle, and think Ned didn't lie for his honor, but for Howland Reed's honor. He wasn't gonna go around telling people that Howland stabbed someone in the back. And it's not Ned's fault that Howland helped him. He didn't ask Howland to stab AD in the back. Ned was fighting honorably until that happened. The only dishonorable thing Ned did here was being part of the whole rebellion in the first place, which made him ultimately have to fight these Kingsguard. But it was only to save his sister and to avenge his father and brother, not for power and glory, so I'm going to be optimistic about this and say that that's what D&D meant by Ned putting aside his honor. Yes, I do think Bran has the ability to interact with his visions and the Three-Eyed Raven doesn't want him to do it. Yes, it would be cool if this is what happened to Hodor. I'm glad they're adding a bit of excitement to the Dash Kalim plotline and they didn't just simply welcome her in without consequences. Looks like Varys really wasn't the Harpy. I'm starting to think that there won't be a twist with who the Harpy is in the show. I think they may just use that plotline to show off Tyrion's skills at manipulating people's desires, in order to win some victories for Dany and gain her trust. I want to talk about Tyrion's scene and Sam and Gilly's scene now. The most popular opinion I keep hearing is that these scenes were pointless and a waste of time, but I don't think they were. With the amount of stuff they need to fit in, trust me, they're not going to waste any time with pointless scenes. The actor who plays Sam, John Bradley, has actually said this. The writing is very economical, everything has to progress, even if it's just two characters talking, which it is quite a lot. That is designed to establish something about them. So something you thought was a piece of decorative information actually turns out to be vital. The fact that we don't understand what these scenes were meant for does not mean they were meaningless. It only means that it hasn't been revealed yet what they were for. So we just need to wait a bit before we judge. When I watched that Tyrion scene and he started talking about a game he played way back with other people, it hit me. They're reminding us of Shae. It was a clear foreshadowing hint in my mind that something relating to her will be happening. And if you've watched my past videos, you may know that Sibel Kekili was spotted on set, so there you go. Also, we need to see Tyrion making a connection with Grey Worm and Missandei. We need these silly talking scenes for character development. I would like to clarify though that while I am defending the meaning of this scene, I will admit it does show that Tyrion's dialogue and actions this season are missing that George R.R. Martin feel to it. David and Dan's writing is just not at his level. The fact that we're getting so many scenes for Sam and Gilly gives me a strong feeling of how important Sam will ultimately be in the story. That is the only reason they would show so much of him, not just because the show needs a love story. I'm telling you guys, Sam will do something big, I can feel the build-up. Also, you may or may not know that movies and TV shows always try to keep a sense of continuity when they cut from one scene to the next. If you pay attention, you will see that, for example, whenever we get a scene of two or more people talking about someone who's not there,
of course, men can be fickle, but birds I always trust.
90% of the time the next scene will be about that someone. So again, about 90% of the time, a scene will be related to the scene that came before it. I'm explaining this to you because it's something I use a lot when I'm speculating. Sometimes you can't see the relation between the two scenes, but if you assume there's a high chance that they are still related to each other, then maybe it means those storylines will intersect in the future. And sometimes it does. I've seen it. So at the beginning of the episode, they use this method of continuity by going from Jon and the Night's Watch to Sam, who belongs to the Night's Watch. That relation makes sense. But then why go from Sam's scene straight to the Tower of Joy scene? I like to think that there's a hidden relation here. Maybe it means Sam will be the one to find out about Jon's true parentage. Or he will just be related in some way. Either that, or it was something more simple, like the last line that was said.
I'd never do that to the father of my son.
Gilly said Sam was her baby's father. So Sam is an adoptive father of a baby, and in the Tower of Joy, Ned also becomes an adoptive father of a baby. Qyburn's expression looks a bit smug here. Could it mean his plan is not to help Cersei after all? Will he help her find out about Littlefinger's gains from her losses in the north? I don't know if Qyburn will be the one to make the little birds kill someone. He sounds like he genuinely only wants whispers, but maybe he's tricking me. I wonder if Varys will be the one to make them kill someone. Could it be a small council member? Could it be Qyburn himself? Oh my god, no! I like all the theories behind Qyburn. Not much to say here. Fart joke was funny though. Reminded me of Medieval Land Funtime World.
We should start with it. Okay, that's it.
Tommen is either going to team up with the High Sparrow and go against Cersei, or he's going to team up with Cersei and go against the High Sparrow. I need more hints here, but either one is cool with me. I'm disappointed they didn't show any warging while Arya was blind. I don't think it was a coincidence to make her say Jon's not her brother in the same episode as the Tower of Joy. Mentioning the Hound was interesting too. I say we'll see him in episode 7. Was it just me, or did it sound like the waif wanted to be on her list when she was asking if she wasn't forgetting someone? Is there a hidden message in Arya's training here? Look at where she gets hit when she names each character. When she says Robb, she gets hit on her side around where Robb got stabbed.
Robb.
When she says Bran, she gets hit on the back.
Bran.
And Bran's back is broken. When she names the Hound, she gets hit in the head and falls backwards, just like the Hound fell off that cliff. If we follow this logic and we look at where she got hit when she named Rickon, could this mean Ramsay will do something to Rickon's legs? It's scary to think about, but they may be telling us something here. There's a lot to say about this scene, but by the time I'm done explaining every detail, the next episode will be here. I just want to say I was super pessimistic about this when I first saw it. I thought, alright then, this is it. Goodbye to you three awesome characters, because David and Dan are not clever enough to write an awesome twist here. If this season has taught me anything, it's to not expect a complicated twist like we would get in the books. Everything so far has been pretty straightforward, and in my opinion, if we keep expecting the show to be like the books, it's just a recipe for continuous disappointment. I'd much rather watch this expecting nothing crazy. And I think Shaggy Dog still being alive is crazy. But after reading a lot of theories online and interviews with the actors and such, my pessimism started to subside a bit. It does seem like there's more to this scene than meets the eye. We've also gotten a lot of hints that something will not work out for Ramsay as he expected in the end. I highly doubt the Umbers will betray the Boltons though, just because we saw them fighting next to them in the trailer and they genuinely hate wildlings, so I don't see why they would support Jon. But I do think that the Manderleys will be involved and it may be them who turn things around. I also believe Rickon is a lot stronger than we think and he may surprise us. We shall see. I'll put some interesting links in the description if you want to read those. Ollie's death was meh for me. I would have liked to have seen Ollie and Alistair regretting what they did. The technicality of Jon's watch ending after his death seems to not have been included in the show. Jon was still Lord Commander after coming back. Seems like they wanted him to break his oath out of his own will, just to show how he's changed. Ed is Lord Commander, yeah! I made a video about this a while back. We end the episode with the best line ever.
My watch is ended.
And now it's time for a score. We had some weak scenes, some scenes that left me confused, but also some really amazeball scenes. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 just because the good scenes really made up for the weak ones. And here's a huge shout out to all these amazing people. Apologies in advance for the name butchery. Joel Ivarson, Cameron, Sox, Cesar E. Lopez, Gabor or Gabor Bonihadi, Marcus Norden, Anton Jensen, Aaron Norrell, Jerry, Adam Cuthbert, Fabian Tessar or Tessar, Edmund Dantes, Skull Viking 73, Christian Klingholm, Amy Rostron, Dirk Towie, Toe, is the E silent? Federico de la Cruz, Angel Medina, Robert Wiley, Glenn P. Mitchell, Yane Warempa, Sean Powell, Lesser Deity, Ali C., Matthew, Darren Reisinger, Ashley De Bartolo, Andreas Sauer, Kristen Fenning, Brian Williams, Sean Shiflett, Taylor Royal, James Milber, Anders Henriksen, Ambrose Duffy, Cesar Rodriguez, Steffi Zimic, Red River Giant, Sponger or Spunger? Sponger. Mark Joseph, aka The Snow in Winterfell, Ramsin, Timo Cardell, Morphdog, MC, Sofalove, Tina Kasten, Dali, John Erickson, David, and many others. Thank you so much for your amazing support. I will see you in the next one!